All right, let's jump right in. Every single business, I don't care what industry you're in, has these little hidden bottlenecks, right? The ones that just quietly suck up your team's time and energy. Well, today, we're going to talk about a universal AI use case that's built to fix one of the most common and most expensive of all of them, the work review cycle.
And this, right here, this really gets to the heart of it. This isn't just about spreadsheets and efficiency numbers. No, it's a human problem. It's burning out your most senior people, your experts, by turning them into glorified proofreaders. And at the same time, it's hitting the brakes on the growth of your junior talent because they're just stuck, waiting around for feedback.
So get this. A study from Deloitte found this absolutely staggering number, 41%. That's how much time knowledge workers can end up spending on low-value, kind of tedious tasks, like checking other people's work. Just stop and think about that. What could your team get done if you gave them back almost half of their week?
So this problem, it actually has a name. We call it the correction trap. And the reason we're digging into it is because this isn't some niche issue that only affects, say, software companies or ad agencies. Nope, this is a universal bottleneck. It happens everywhere where work gets passed from a junior person to a senior person for the final okay.
And this is where you can really see the massive, costly disconnect. Over on the left, that's the dream, right? That's why you hire senior talent in the first place, for the big picture stuff. Strategic thinking, building relationships, solving the really tough problems. But then, look at the right. That's the reality. They're bogged down in the weeds, correcting syntax, double-checking formatting, and just running basic logic checks. It's a huge misuse of your most valuable and most expensive people. Okay, so we've all felt that pain. But talking about the problem is the easy part. What's the actual fix? Well, the solution is a really simple but incredibly powerful pattern called the AI in the loop. So what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. Think of it like a new quality assurance process where you put an AI agent as the very first line of defense. This AI's job is to look at the work, check it against all your company's rules and guidelines, and then give instant corrective feedback directly to the junior employee. The work only moves on when it's clean. So the whole workflow just gets a complete makeover. That old, slow path from junior to senior, it's gone. Now, a junior person finishes their work and submits it straight to the AI agent. They get feedback literally in seconds. They revise it, maybe they go back and forth a couple of times. And then only after all the little stuff is fixed does that polished, clean work land on the senior manager's desk for that final high-level sign-off. But here's where this idea goes from just being efficient to being truly transformative. This system isn't really about just catching errors faster. Its real, game-changing value is that it acts like an on-demand AI mentor for every single person on your team. See, a well-designed system doesn't just find a mistake and automatically fix it. I mean, what does that teach you? Nothing. Instead, it takes more of a coaching approach. It asks questions. It might say something like, hey, this paragraph feels a little off-brand. Take a look at our brand voice guide on page 2. How could you rephrase this to be more direct? That kind of feedback gets people thinking, and it turns every single review into a little micro-training session. So when you put it all together, the strategic benefits for the whole organization are just enormous. You're preserving your senior team's time and energy for the work only they can do. You're speeding up feedback from days, maybe weeks, down to seconds. You're basically automating upskilling. You get 100% consistency because an AI never gets tired or has a bad day. And the bottom line? Everyone gets to focus on work that actually moves the needle. All right, that all sounds great in theory, right? But let's make it real. What does this AI in the loop pattern actually look like when you put it to work in different departments out in the real world?
Engineering is probably the most classic example. A senior developer's time is incredibly valuable. So instead of having them spend hours pointing out little style issues or basic syntax errors in code, the AI agent handles all of that first. And that frees up the senior engineer to use their review time to focus on the things that actually demand their expertise: the system's architecture, potential security holes, and the long-term health of the code.
And this pattern works absolutely everywhere. It's totally industry agnostic. For a marketing team, the AI can check a new ad to make sure it uses the right fonts, colors, and logos. Over in finance, it can scan every expense report to make sure it follows company policy before a manager even has to look at it. And for legal, it can check a contract to make sure all the standard clauses are there, letting the lawyers focus on the tricky negotiation parts, not the boilerplate. Okay, so by this point, I'm sure you're probably thinking about some of the practical stuff. This sounds great, but what about security? What about the resources needed? And what about the people? Let's tackle those questions head on. First up, the big one, the one everybody asks. Is it actually safe? Can I really upload my company's secret sauce, our confidential documents, our code, our intellectual property to an AI?
And the answer is a very clear yes, if you're using the right tools. You see, enterprise-grade AI platforms are what you'd call walled gardens. It just means your data stays your data. It's kept completely private and is never ever used to train those big public models. Your IP is totally safe and secure.
All right, next question. To get something like this up and running, do I need a huge budget? Do I need to go hire a whole team of software developers to build it all from the ground up?
And thankfully, the answer is a huge no. This is one of the most amazing developments in this space. Today's modern, low-code, or even no-code AI platforms let you build one of these custom agents just by uploading the documents you already have, your brand style guide, your coding handbook, your T&E policy. You just feed it the rules and it learns. The barrier to entry has never been lower.
And finally, maybe the most important question of all, the human one. Is this going to make my employees feel like they're being watched by some kind of robot micromanager? It's a really important thing to consider.
You know, what we actually see is the complete opposite. People feel empowered. This AI gives them a private, totally judgment-free space to get things wrong, to learn, and to fix their own mistakes before their boss ever sees the work. It takes away so much of the anxiety of hitting submit, and it turns the whole review process from something to fear into a personal tool for getting better at your job.
So that really brings us to the core idea here. The takeaway isn't just knowing what this pattern is, it's about figuring out how to use it. So I'll leave you with one final question to take back to your team, to your organization. Where are your experts stuck doing basic checks? Where's your team's correction trap?